Hello, good evening, good evening, good evening, and happy Sunday. I hope you're doing very well. Yeah, it's been a while here. Oh my goodness. Hi, good evening, good evening, good evening. Okay, so hi, good evening. Happy Sunday. How did everything go? So today we're having our program, and I'm so glad we're going to be having one of my amazing friends on Facebook. She's going to be joining us here live. Okay, okay, so she'll be joining us very soon. Okay, good evening, good evening. Welcome to our session this evening. Oh, I'm glad. Yes, we made it. Thank you. Oh my goodness. It feels so good to be here. Good evening. Okay, it's afternoon over. Let me greet.
Oops. All right. We're in business now.
Yeah, you are. Oh, I'm so glad to
Finally.
have you. Wow. Yeah, so we are good to go. Please, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you very well. Very
Oh,
well.
thank God. Thank God. And I can hear you so well. How have you been? It's good to have you
Fine.
here.
I'm,
Like,
I'm good. I'm good. I was just looking forward to this and I was like, why? Why is this happening?
you know, I'm so used to those kind of issues. So once in a while, anytime I have a guest coming up with me, I usually try to
Prepare
test
to
run
check.
for rent time because these technical issues, they don't usually, sometimes you think you already know what you're going to do, it's going to just work out the way you want it to work out, and then at the appointed time you just notice that it's not working out again. So I just like to test run so that if there's another option we take it immediately after test running. And that is why I had to, in fact, thank God we are able to come up. I'm grateful. I'm
Yes,
grateful.
yes.
Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Yeah.
I'm really glad. Thank you for
Oh,
joining. Thank you. God bless you. Okay, people, good evening, good evening, and thank you for joining us this evening today. And it's evening over here in Nigeria, and I'm sure in some places it's still morning, afternoon, and some people are already in their nights. I think so. But right here, we are we're going to have a very amazing session, a very amazing conversation this evening. And this conversation was supposed to hold or take place on Facebook. But because of the technical issues that we experienced on Facebook, we decided to come on Instagram. So we are glad the session is still going to hold. I mean, we are super glad. And so this evening, I have an amazing, amazing, amazing friend. I remember we got connected on Facebook, I think last year. Is it last year or this year?
I'm not sure, but we were introduced by the author, Percy.
Yes, Pastor
Yes.
Pat. Yes, Pastor Passy. So Pastor Passy is like my main figure on this matter. So he takes this business serious. He talks about fathers. He talks about
Yeah.
fatherlessness. I mean, I appreciate him a lot. I love what he does, and I
Yes.
am really, really, really interested in it. So I think that's how we got connected too. And so I'm so grateful to have Diane right here, and she is the author of Fatherless Daughter. Yes, I can see, yes, Fatherless Daughter. And in fact, I am hoping to order this. Please, how do I even get my copy? I don't want a soft copy. I want a hard copy.
Send me your address and I'll send it to you.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll do just that.
Yeah.
So, when we got connected, she told me something. She said that everything you're talking about is the things I have written down in my book. And, I'm a young girl, and she's older than me. But we have almost the same experience because
Experience.
we lost our
Yes.
father at very young age, and we share the same experiences. And so when she shares her experience, I mean, I called her and she said so much. I said so much. I'm just connected. I was like, oh my goodness, people are in different countries, but their
But have the
experience.
same experiences, yes.
This it gets me because when we talk about fatherlessness, we think it is maybe different because we're in a different country, we are in a different continent or anything, but it's not really so, because the same thing that happens to a fatherless child in a particular country is happening in another country. The only difference is that maybe the kind of society that they find themselves makes it a bit
Yes.
easier,
How
or
you're socialized or how your culture may be different, but generally
exactly
the experiences are the same.
the same, exactly. And so I'm super excited that we are even on this level. And guess what? Very soon we'll be marching around the world. I mean, they're going to be having more of this, more of this. And so, good evening. Thank you for joining us again. If you're just
Thank you for
joining,
having me.
yes, thank you for coming. So, if you're just joining us today, we are having a conversation on the effect of fatherlessness on single mothers, how the lives of the children a father leaves behind is highly influenced by the type or the quality of single mother that is in charge of the children. And so we are having this conversation because a lot of times, in fact, we have heard, and if you look at the current statistics of what is happening to fatherless children, you will notice that a lot of crime, a lot of high rate of crime. The prison, if you go to prison, a lot of fatherless children are there. If you look at the crimes happening, a lot of fatherless children are involved. If you look at the rate of teenage pregnancy, you will notice that a lot of fatherless children are there. And in fact, I took a study on South Africa, and currently in the world, South Africa has the largest number of fatherless children. And this is basically because they have more teenagers getting pregnant out of wedlock. And so this is crazy. And the more they are fatherless, they are bringing up fatherless children, and they are increasing on a daily basis. And so today we're talking about how can single mothers help to reduce the effect of fatherlessness on their children, because they have a role to play. They do have a role to play. No matter what has happened, no matter what, all of us are fatherless children. So if we were raised by people who didn't take responsibilities, we wouldn't have been where we are, and we will not be heading to where we are heading to at the moment. And so that is basically what we are talking about. And this evening, it's going to be a blast, a blast, a blast. Okay, so we start. Okay, so welcome, Diane. Well, I'm just smiling all over. I'm happy. Okay, so we begin with this. I know you lost your father early. You lost him, or he was
No, no,
absent. What
no.
really happened?
He left before I was born.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. So, so is he still alive?
Yes, he is.
Oh, really? Okay, so when your mother, when you came up, you were of age. What did your mom tell you? So were you asking questions like, where is daddy? Where is daddy? And stuff like that.
No. For me, I have three other.
Okay, she's coming. Her network is a bit tricky. She's coming back. Are you there? Okay.
Which I was raised in, it was almost normalized for it.
Okay.
Most of my friends had single parent homes they were from, and
Really?
they were headed by mothers. So it was not abnormal. It wasn't like I was seeing anything different around me to cause me to question. On the other hand, in my very early age, like the 3 to 5, I would speak to my father on the phone, on the public phone, very often,
Okay.
like every weekend or something like that. So I didn't miss my father. I didn't know it was not normal to not have a father. So I did not have those issues growing up. I had no such issue growing up. I didn't know what I was missing until I met my father, and he explained to me why he left. And then everything started to come down on me, and I started having so many issues as it relates to my emotional instability and also my security, like feeling secure in myself. All of those came at after the age of 2021.
Wow. Wow. So
Yes,
I get something from what
I didn't miss my father. And let me tell you something. My mother was very good because I have never heard my mother, even to today, speak badly of my father.
wonderful, wonderful. That's
Yes,
great.
yes, yes.
That's great. So I got two things from what you just said. Number one, so you didn't even have a lot of people who had fathers
No,
that could make you longing for your
no,
daddy. And that's one
no.
of the things that have affected our world today. We are now seeing fatherlessness as being normal. A
Yes,
lot of, I mean, I say things like, I just want to give birth and raise the child alone. I mean, I just want I want someone to get me pregnant, and I raise my child alone. I mean, that doesn't sound normal. How would you want to raise your child alone? Is that God's plan for you? And we are now looking at it because we are in a world where things are changing and people are gradually taking what is not normal to be normal. We are now seeing that you saying that you are a single parent does not mean anything again. I mean, it's not their fault. I mean, a lot of them doesn't want to be in that shoe, but then it is not normal.
You know what I think though? You know what I think though, Favor? Some of the women today who are now accepting being single parents by, some of them go the route of IVF, some of them know that that man cannot be a man to them as in their homes or won't be a
Yeah.
good father. I think though some of those women were raised in homes with fathers, but their experiences were so bad that they
Exactly.
don't have a
Yeah.
feeling that they need to give their child that experience. So it's an opposite.
Exactly. See, you see, I so much believe what you just said, because people have, and that is where I was actually heading to. When you are surrounded with negativity, at a point it becomes so normal to you that you do
Yes,
not think
yes,
wrong. And
yes.
so a lot of them, some people were raised with very hard, harsh fathers, very difficult men who were not loving, men who
Yes,
were their mothers often. So
yes.
if this is what it means to be a father or be married to a man, I rather raise
I
my
don't
child.
want it. Yes,
That
that's
is
the
what happened.
attitude. Yes,
It's that pain. I know I've met a lot of people. I've met some students in school. I'm a teacher, and I
yes,
meet students who tell me that they do not like one thing about their father. I mean, I took time to do a survey with some students, and I told them, don't write your name, just tell me what you do not like about your father. I know what they wrote. A number of them wrote that I do not like the fact that my father is always beating my mom.
Wow, wow, wow.
I get that from a child or two children. I mean, I got it from almost 10 children. And the one that shook me more was that I got a lot of children telling me that their father is always quarreling with their mothers. Those kind of children, before you would talk them out of that experience, it would take another father figure coming to give them what their father could not give them.
Shows them how different it can be.
Exactly. Yeah. And see what is happening. And so that is why a lot of people are seeing it as, I don't want the headache. So let me
just be by myself. Let me raise my child. And but what they miss though is to understand that it is a necessity. A father in a home is a necessity. It is not something that you say you choose to have or not to have. Mark you, people don't have fathers for many different reasons. Not all of them are neglect. You know, all of them are not by choice. It happens. Death comes, work comes, so the fathers can be maintains his children. Yeah? Yeah, I was saying a father can be absent from the home, but he's very present in the child's life. Because sometimes you are like that, but there are many reasons why a father can be out of a home. And a lot of children right now have fathers who are inside their homes, but they are very absent.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
A lot of them have it. A lot of them,
Let's clear normalcy of negativity. It has been normalized, and negative things have become what everybody is accepting as normal, and it's not normal.
I think about these things a lot, and sometimes I just think that when a child is in the home, when you have a child, one of the ways I know that a child and the father is not close or doesn't have any relationship, or the father is absent emotionally in the life of a child, is when you talk to a child, or when a child befriends you and you say, I am going to tell your daddy, and the child is already crying, is already feeling like, or you tell the child, I'm going to tell that, and the child doesn't care because he knows that the father doesn't have any business or is not going to do anything serious about it, or they don't even have any, those kind of things are becoming very normal. And I am not even ashamed to say that in the school where I teach, I have lots of children that have little relationship with their fathers. The only relationship they have with their fathers is that they are paying their school fees, they are buying books, and sincerely, I'm ashamed because it is leading to a lot of things in our society, and God will help us. Okay, and then you said something again I want us to really talk about, and that is one of the things in here. I mean, you said that your mother never mentioned anything bad about your father, and that's one of the problems that we have. In Africa, I grew up in fact in the part of Africa where I am right now and where I grew up. If your father dies, there's this thing that they take everything from your mother, though depending on the kind of on the part of on the part of Nigeria you're coming from, they try to take everything from your father. They make you look like you don't want nothing, especially if you're house. So they make you so. I'm from that kind of family. We are all girls, and when my father died, they didn't see so much about us because they value male children a lot. I mean, so they didn't
Mm-hmm.
see.
Yes.
But something happened. My mother did something for us, and I can't forget. So the lady used to support us. They don't know how we feed. They don't know how we go to school. Of course, there's this entitlement mentality in Africa where you feel like your relatives are entitled to taking care of you, that kind of thing. But then
Yeah.
my mom taught me, my mom never allowed us to say anything bad about those people. But she made us see it that those people, if they have so much, they wouldn't be where they are. So we are even better than them in a way. So she made us see that those people are not bad. And now, this is one problem that fatherless children have. Single mothers who are raising fatherless children should make sure they are not using bad words to describe the fathers of those children. The
Yes.
future the future is really, really bright, depending on how you paint the future for your child. And so a day will come in the life of your child when she or he is going to meet the father, especially if they are absent. If
Yes.
you start talking negative about them, you are making it difficult for those children to reconnect with their fathers.
True, true. What that does is you are already prejudicing the child's mind against the
Exactly.
father. And I always said my mother never ever did that. It could have been a case where she is just naturally not the person to do that, or she was careful not to do it. I am not certain what the reason was, but I'm grateful for it because my opinion of my father is solely on my experience with him. Has
Exactly.
nothing to do with how my mother, spoke about him. Because I can tell you, she was always talking about how good a father he was for my older siblings, my two older
Okay.
siblings, you know. So she was always like, and I think that's where the disappointment comes for her, because he was such a good father until he left. He was such a good father until he left. So I am very grateful for that, and I would want to implore mothers who are raising fatherless children, or children whose fathers have neglected them, do not plant negative seeds in their heads. Allow them
Exactly.
to grow up and have their own opinions of their
Exactly.
fathers. Yes, yes. That's my
Exactly.
that's my take on it.
Exactly. So when they have when they experience their fathers themselves, they can draw a conclusion. Don't be the one to give them words. Don't be the one to plant something that they already
Yes.
their minds, and when they hear the word father, they're already angered because of what you told
Yes.
fathers. I mean, I wrote yesterday, there are great fathers out there. Even though you didn't experience one, do not let your experience with the bad one um, prevent you from experiencing the great ones. And especially for
True.
your own children, especially if you're still young or single, for your unborn children. Because let me tell you, no matter how we want to say it, a child that is raised with by a single mother or a single father can never be the same with a child that was raised with a father and a mother that
And
are in.
I can tell you, a lot of people will say, "Oh, I had a strong mother and a very good mother, and all the good accolades you can give to a mother." A mother cannot father a child.
Exactly.
No mother, no matter how good a mother she is, she cannot father a child. She cannot. She cannot. And we don't need to even put that narrative out there to say it is possible. No. And many of us, like myself and my siblings, have come out from under a single parent. But there are things that have affected us psychologically and otherwise that are still going to take us into our adulthood to death.
Yes.
So, and it's because of not having a father in our home. So it will never, ever, ever be where a mother can father a child. It is impossible. And I think, as I stated in my book, that God was very, 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 very explicit in his intention for the family. when he
Yes.
designed the reproductive system, and when he actually look at what dictates making a child. You need a man, you need a woman. That means you need a mother, you need a father. It's just simple as that. And
As
yes, a mother cannot father a child, and that's it. It doesn't matter about how much money she wants to have, she cannot father a child.
it's not possible. It's
Not
not just
possible.
possible.
It's not
You know,
possible.
I celebrate single mothers. I have a single mother. I love her. I celebrate her. But let me tell
Same
you,
here, same here.
in my 28 years, I sit down and I calculate the things. Like things I don't tell my mom. I'm sorry about that because I know she's going to get emotional about them. I can
Mm-hmm.
tell after some time. But you know, there is this thing that a man does in a life. A father is not a mother.
No.
You know, a father is not a. I read. If you read the book of, if you read Proverbs chapter 4, it said, listen to the instructions of your father. In fact, see, if you lack instructions from fathers, you are not going to go so far.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, mothers are emotional. See, they're going to counsel you, they want the best for you, but sometimes fathers have the ability of putting emotions back and giving you a clear-cut instruction. A
Yeah.
clear instruction. So a mother cannot be a father. And in case you're a single, you are a single mother that and you are raising a fatherless child right now. I want you to do my I have a spiritual father who was raised by a single mother, and he told me something. He said when he was young, I had him in my program last month. He said when he was young, his mother used to bring a man to come and instruct him in the house. If he does anything bad, the mother will go bring a trusted father figure to come and advise him, instruct him, and scold him for that thing he did. And what happened was that as long as he was a child, he saw a man in that man and he was able to listen to his instructions. Now, if you're a single mother, do your child a favor. You might not have really amazing men around you, but you have one. You might not have many of them, but you have one. Look for someone that your children will submit under as a father figure. It is going to do them a favor. It is going to help them. Look for a man who is worthy of answering that name. There are many fathers. It can be a spiritual father, your pastor in church, anybody, a mentor, but look for somebody because you cannot do the work of a father. You cannot.
But you know what, Favor? That's a good recommendation. However, the pool of men that are available to do that might be difficult to get.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
what happened is we are experiencing, and for a long time, this pandemic, which is a fatherlessness pandemic, has
Yes.
been going on. The dysfunctionality in our men today have a lot to do with the fact that they did not have good fathers or fathers any at all.
Exactly.
That's the missing ingredient to make better adults by raising better children. And that might be very hard to find, where you can find a male friend or find a male relative who can come into your fatherless household and speak to your children to help in molding them into being better adults. That's where the dilemma is. We don't have a lot of role models, a lot
Have a
of
lot of
good men and good fathers and people who will make a decision to play their part and be the change they want to see.
I see. I agree with you. We don't have a lot of them. I know that a lot of girls, a lot of fatherless girls too, have been abused by people they trusted. Their
Yes.
friends, their uncles, their
Yeah.
something like that. They have been abused. So we don't have a lot of them. But then when you pray, God is
Yeah.
going to show you the, because God's plan for your children is that they have a father too. Even though
Mm-hmm.
so when you ask God, God is going to show you somebody. I believe in prayers. When I say I
Yeah.
believe in the Holy Spirit, when you ask God, God is going to show you one. And of course, God is a father. Okay, let's go back. So I've been thinking of something lately. Now, see, we're talking about, we have noted that one, single mothers don't say evil about your children's father, especially in their presence. Do not plant
Yes.
evil seeds concerning their fathers. You are blocking the way for them. You are not helping their future. That's number one. Two, we have also noted that a mother cannot be a father.
Mm.
To get a solution for that. Now we want to talk about the quality of single mothers we have. Now I have a story I shared on my podcast the other day, and I said a single mother some years ago had just one child, and the man died when the child was yet to be born. But the man was rich. He had a lot of things in his. Okay, we have something here. Also, culture, it's different in the West. In Africa, it will be easier to find, but in the West. Okay,
That's
yes, I
true.
agree. Yes, I
True.
agree. Thank you. Yes, that's true. In West Africa, of course, we are in West Africa. For me, in Nigeria, I have lots of trusted father figures, like they're my spiritual fathers. And then what happens is that for me personally, I've noted that God fathers me in seasons. I have people who have been there for me, like I have a spiritual father who was my father's best friend all through, like he's been there for me. But I have people who I meet for particular areas of my lives. So I have people who, when I know that I want to talk about my career, I know somebody I need to talk to about my career. Like this father is going to do justice to that area for me. And so, yes, in Africa, I think we will have people like that. And if you're a single mother in Africa, please make sure you're doing your child in West Africa in particular. Please make sure you do your child a favor. Thank you so much for that point. We are grateful. Okay, so as I was saying that when this woman got married, when the man died, this woman put to bed, but sold off every single thing that that man had. When she sold them, I'm not saying of something that I read online. I mean something that happened live. This person who was affected was sharing this story with me. And now, when this woman sold every single thing, when she sold every single thing, she returned, she took the child back to the father's people, used the money from all that she sold, and traveled abroad with another man. Years later,
Mm.
she came back. The child that she left, the family had, because the family was already doing well, so they picked the child and put her in a good school and was raising her gradually, giving the child their best. This woman came back, raised alarm, shouted, and took the child back. Now, when she took the child back, she could not even afford to give the child a quality education. Now, the end of the story is that this child could not go to school, but the child had enough, the father had enough at least that could keep the child going till a point. Now, that child is less because of the quality of single mother that
Yes.
she.
Yes.
Now, I was raised by a single mother who didn't have so much, but who beat her chest and said she was going to give us the best. That's the quality of single mothers we have. Now, the thing is, my question is, what do you think the single mothers, what do you think is their problem? Or what are we actually looking at? What's the problem? What's happening?
I believe that in terms of single mothers, it's the emotional intelligence for me, and it's they were not prepared for the reality they are now facing. I won't make excuses for them, but I also know that they too have their dysfunctionalities coming from their background and how they were socialized. Some of them are cruel not because of like they decide to be. It's more a reaction to what has been their life in general. I think so. My mother stayed. My mother stayed, even though my father made claims that, he wanted her to migrate too, she stayed. It wasn't easy. It still not is easy, but she wasn't even the type to say, we could say, oh, she will look after herself and not take care of us. She didn't have it, but at the same time, she tried her best to ensure that she was there as a parent. But as it relates to the quality in general of the mothers today, I don't know what happened, but some of them, I believe they are just reacting to their reality. It's a reaction, it's not an action. It is coming from something. There is a cause and it's underlying, and we might not be able to determine it without doing some real therapy and people being honest. And that's where the quality comes from, or the lack thereof. But my
Wow.
mother,
Well,
I never had I don't have that to report for my mother, because knowing my mother's background too, even though she was not raised in a single parent home, her home was quite dysfunctional just the same, and she's coming from a two-parent home.
wow. Wow.
And because of that, many of the ways how she punished us in an abusive way, it would be because of what she experienced. And no, I'm not making any excuses, guys, not making any excuses. I'm just saying, you look and you see it as more of a reflection of what she's coming from and what parents thought was okay. It wasn't okay. It has never been okay to punish your children the way, many of us have been punished,
Yeah.
to not be able to have more children than you can afford. It is not okay. It's not okay. So it is just what it is. It's just what it is.
Yes. I totally understand. And then I also think that when you are getting into marriage and when you start having kids, you should be able to know that anything that happens, that you're going to need to stand by your children. You
Ah,
are
boy.
going.
All right. So Favour, in Africa, it is perhaps a case, or maybe in your neck of the woods, where marriage is part of the plan to get married, then you have a family.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I can tell you about Jamaica, and I'm not saying it does not exist here, that where
Okay.
people make plans to get married, then they have children. But I can tell you that from my experience, both in my home and also with the people who I grew up around, people just have children. We're having
Oh,
sex, we're having children. We meet each other down the road and we say, we're in our relationship, we're just having children. So it's a lot of things. It's not like it's a case where people were looking out to be married before they have children. It's not necessarily so in Jamaica or in other parts of the world, but I'm speaking from where I am from.
I
So
get. Yes.
a lot of people are not planning their lives, and nobody, I'm not knocking anybody for that. I'm just saying that's the reality. You see more people saying, oh, that's my baby's father or my baby's mother. That's the norm. It's more normal than you would find people. If most people who you see married and then have children are most people who maybe were raised in the church, the church has an influence. So they're not as secular as the persons that are outside. But it's not general that you see people go and be like, oh, we need to get married in 2 years and then we're going to start having children and you plan your life. It's not like that for us. It's not like that. It's not the norm. So I won't create that thing in anybody's head that people, it's normal. Like, are you married? Are you gonna get married? Or it's not that. It's not happening. People meet each other at a party or meet each other wherever, and they start to go out together, and the sex start to happen, and then a baby comes, and then another baby comes, and then another baby comes, and it just continues like that. So it's a lot of that. And that is influencing the fatherlessness in Jamaica and the rest of the world, where people don't really have real relationships either. It's not real. It's not real relationships. You have sex, you get pregnant, and then the baby's here. And then we don't even know some of the women don't even know the man's real name.
Imagine. Oh my goodness.
Yes. They don't even know the man's real name. So when they say to you, what's the child's father name? They give you a name, a Scooby-Doo or something. It's not like you're going to be like, oh, it's John Brown or, John Doe. They don't have a name. So that's how far it has gone. And you have women who, I always say, you have one child, two children, and it was difficult. And then you end up having 9. How you get to that? How do you get to that? You have 2 children, 2 separate men, and you're saying to yourself, At what point do you recognize that it is very hard? You know, at what point?
Oh my, it's happening in Nigeria, but it's not like, no, it's not like somebody comes to say, I just want to have children.
Yeah.
It just sounds like it's happening. It's happening. There are people who, but it's not like people in Nigeria are to get married. I mean, you are in a relationship and you're flaunting it. You're saying, "Oh my goodness, I'm going to be getting married very soon. I'm getting married. I'm getting married," and they are happy. And so some people are even wanting to say, "I'm going to get I'm going to start giving birth after a year in marriage, after 2 years in marriage," and some people are even, yes, there are people who are not planning, but then a lot of them that even get into pregnant, like, okay, that get pregnant before anything or while in the relationship, they end up getting married. Like, they plan and get married. Now, most of the times when people do not get married after an unplanned pregnancy is when they were teenagers. As teenagers, that's what happens in Nigeria.
Yeah,
Most of the
it happens here too. It happens here, but most times they don't get married. You know, as I said, if in that case they will get married if they're in the church. But if it is not a church related, most times that's another baby mother and a baby father. It's not a case where it's normal. It's not what they do here.
I get it. Okay, and so and Bali is saying something here. He said unplanned pregnancy and the issue of cheating. Exactly.
Yes.
That's the thing. And the biggest problems that we have with fatherlessness, unplanned pregnancy. People just boost into somebody, get the person pregnant, and you disappear.
Yes.
Appear they reject and they deny the pregnancy, and they now, sometimes a woman that is going through that pain, any decision that she takes, you can't really blame her because she's reacting like you said.
Exactly. It's a reaction.
She's reacting to the pain, she's reacting to the fact that she has to raise a child alone. That's the thing. Okay.
And then you also have some of the women that, remember, they know that a man is married and that man can never be heard or at home. As Claire said, cheating. So you know that this man that you met is a married man, but you get pregnant for him.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And I find it very crazy. I mean, you see girls who are not married and they're opening their eyes to date him. And in fact, they even want to get pregnant. The thing I see about this thing is that a lot of people are not even having the future of their children in mind.
None at all. None.
Consider it as anything. Some of them don't even think, in fact, what they are saying or they need is money. They're only seeing money. If there is money to raise the child, send the child to a big school, do this and do that, buy the child a clothes, and they don't see that the importance of having a child in a complete family. It is not their business.
That's not part of their decision. Nope.
So until people begin to see the importance of raising a child in a functional home, in a great family where you have the father and the mother present and active, people will never take it serious. They will never. So that is what they don't see. They're not. So it is normal for them. As long as there is money in their mind, money is what to raise the children. So if the man, I don't mind. You get me pregnant, I raise the child. You supply the money for raising the child. And that child, you're raising a child who is growing in a dysfunction. I mean, people are not even thinking it. That's the thing. That's just the thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's what we've been able to establish that fact, and then we are saying something now. So for places where people are going to be getting married, where people get married and everything, especially for fathers, for young men. Let's talk about young men now. So a lot of young men are not getting ready to raise children. I don't know how it is over there in Jamaica, but in Africa, in Nigeria, in those days, what parenting is was 30 years ago is not what it is right now. Because 30 years ago, there was no technology. People didn't have to fight with all these technology issues and everything in Nigeria in particular. Then 30 years ago, here in Africa, the fathers were the providers alone. They go to farm, they bring food for the children, and the mothers are asked to stay at home to raise the children. So basically, the mothers were the ones doing the upbringing while the fathers were just supplying food, go to the farm, get food, and come back. But right now, things have changed. So now we're talking about fathers. Remember that you are going to be raising children. And for you to be a great father, you are going to need to get a great wife, because if you marry the wrong woman, your good intentions can be frustrated.
I must say, though, based on my observation, without any empirical evidence to what I'm saying, is just looking on. I think that the younger fathers today are better fathers.
Exactly. I know that. I
They
believe that.
are better fathers. First of all, they are present. That's the first thing. They are present. And
Okay, are
their
you saying
children, huh?
I think have some advantages, and the another
Yeah,
fact.
as I said, I don't have data where I could say what kind of percentage or how much better. I'm not speaking from evidence, but when I look on and I see children, I see men today who were raised without fathers, but are being the best fathers they can be to their children.
I'm making efforts.
So I
Exactly.
believe that they have recognized it, and even some of them, as I said, they may not be formally married, but they're in a common law situation and they're trying to be the best parent and the best spouse to whomever is in their household. So I must give credit to those people who I have seen, and I know they weren't raised with fathers, but yet still they are there for their children. They take them to school, they go back, they pick them up from school, and I must tell you, I have to give them the thumbs up. Like they are doing a better job with maybe less resources too. Less resources, because some of them are not as educated to say they can get better jobs to have more income, but disposable income. But they are still there, and the children knows them, and the children, they have a good, better, they have a relationship with their fathers. And to me, that connection is priceless. There's no money that can pay for a bond between a child and his or her father, and I must give them, and I know a few that have come from homes with their fathers in it, and those who have not come from homes with fathers in it. And I know them, and I know that they are trying to do a better job than that which was done with them as children.
Exactly. I agree. I agree so much. I agree too, because I had a guest last month who came and said he noted every single thing that was happening in his own family, but then he had a friend who was coming from a great family where he could not lie to his father. And he said that in his words that that man has never lied in his life, because in their family they are open to their father. They are open mother. Even if you did the worst thing, you are encouraged to say the truth. Nobody's beating you, nobody's hitting
No
you.
punishment. More they will pay, perhaps encourage you, not why you shouldn't do it again.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. He liked it so much, but that didn't happen in where he was coming from. It wasn't like that. Where he was coming from a very strict home. So he was always attracted to that family. And then when he started growing up, he told himself he was going to make sure his daughter, his son, his children were going to be as open as anything to him. He was going to be the, and right now he's doing a great job.
That's
So
good.
a lot of young men are taking up their positions. They are raising
Yeah.
people. They are present, and I mean, I love,
Yes,
and
I admire them for it.
and then if you are among those people who are still not understanding all these things, I know, and then I also understand that a lot of young men, a lot of fathers wants to be there for their children, but some things that are beyond their control. Some
Yes.
people, the women in the lives of those children wouldn't allow them come
Yes.
close.
Yes.
Some of them are ashamed of their mistakes, so they don't even know how to go back to go talk to those children. So some of them don't have the financial capabilities, and they are saying, I can't raise a child without money. No, that's not the problem. You can raise a child without money. You
Money.
can. You only
Yes.
need active and present. Okay,
Ye-
so please tell us what you want to say.
No, for me, I was saying though that children, some mothers are, they what would you call it now? They are blocking their children from having a relationship with their fathers.
Yes.
There are many children, many good fathers out there. However, the mothers are scorned. They are scorned because maybe the man cheated on them, or the man just make it known, I am no longer interested in you. And what
Mm.
they do now is to use the children as a pawn to say,
Yes.
you can't see the children. And then that now is seen as a bad father, when he's not a bad father. He's being denied the opportunity to be there
Yeah.
for his children. So
Exactly.
some of the relationships are not as you see it. You say, oh, you have a father? No. And then that's where they get the opportunity to plant the bad seed in the children's minds.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
the mothers have a very, very important role to play. A very, very important role to play. Very
Exactly.
important. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a question here. Could the presence of the younger fathers be a mindset shift of the mothers as well, where she is willing to allow the father to be present without a relationship with the mother? Okay, that's what she just said.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Yes.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's what she just said. So some of these fathers could just be absent because the mothers are trying to get at them and are blocking the road and don't want them to get close to the children.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, we are drawing close to the end of the session, and like we've had an amazing, amazing, amazing time,
Yes,
and
it
I'm
was
sure.
good.
Yes. So we are going to do this again the last Sunday of this month, and
Yes.
we are going to be talking about another interesting topic. And I think this time we are going to be discussing, to a large extent, what the different reasons why fathers are absent. There are so many things that make fathers to be apart from death, apart from the issue of
Neglect.
being a pregnant
Yeah.
woman. There are a lot of things.
A
Shame
lot
are
of
making fathers.
things.
A lot of things. So
Family.
we're going to
It can be their family too. But we will wait until that discussion we bring it up.
So we are going to talk about it, and we encourage every father, every young man, every single mother. We want to change the narrative. I
Join
mean,
in.
we are interested in fathers. We love fathers. I love fathers. I don't have a biological father, but wherever I see them, I celebrate them. It's not
True.
easy to be a father, and I celebrate fathers. I mean, I celebrate them. And so we're going to be talking about these things, and we are hoping that in our time, that a lot of things are going to take its place. We know that someone said, I don't see people celebrate fathers. I don't see people talk about fathers. We are talking about fathers now. We are interested in fathers. I
Yeah.
want to let them know, I think one of the problems that we have in the society is that fathers don't feel supported. They don't feel loved. They feel all the love is shifted to the mothers.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to discuss one day. We're
Yes.
going to talk
Yes.
about
Yes.
fathers,
They feel unappreciated.
mothers, and sometimes they act up strong. It's not like they are really strong. They need the love too. They need the support too. And so we are going to talk about these things. So thank you
Definitely.
for joining us
Thank
today.
you
Thank
too.
you.
And thanks to everybody who joined on the live.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you. Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right,
Thank
Favour.
you.
Have a good
And
week.
thank you
Have
to
a very
everyone.
productive week.
Is there?
No, I'm saying thank you and have a productive week.
Oh, thank you. You too. You too. Don't worry. I'll be checking up on you all through the week. I'll be saying hello. Hi. Hello. Hi.
All right.
I had a great time. I had a great time. Thank you for coming. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you
Thank you,
for
everyone
having
that
me.
joined us. This video is
Yes.
going to be right here, and you can always call in someone to check on this video, especially those people you think need to hear what we have
Yes.
said. Evening.
Definitely. I'll share it on other platforms.
Yes, I am going to do that on Facebook. Yes, it's
Yes.
going to be on. If I'm able to download it right now, I will save it on Facebook. Yes.
All right.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Bye. Have a good one.
you. Afternoon. I know you're still in your afternoon, so have a
Yes.
great day and have
All
a
right.
very blissful week ahead. I love
Thank
you. I
you.
appreciate
All
you so
right.
much.
Love you too. Bye bye. All
Bye.
right. Bye.
Bye. Okay, thank you everyone that joined. I love you. I love you. I'm sure you know we celebrate you. If you are a father, let me tell you that you are celebrated, you are loved, you are appreciated. We appreciate every single effort you're making towards your children and your family. And we love you. And I want to tell you just one thing before I leave you. Just one thing. If you are a father, you cannot father a child without knowing the father who has given you that child. So you need to come into a relationship with the Almighty Father. He is the one that will teach you how to be a great father. Yes, He is your father and He is my father. So you need to come into a relationship with Him through Jesus Christ. In case you do not have a relationship with Jesus yet, you need to come into a relationship with Him so you can be able to do all, yes, every single thing that He wants you to do, because you cannot take care of a product without meeting the owner of the product. And that is what God wants you to do. He wants to use you to raise an amazing and great generation. And you have to be able to meet with Him to get the real deal for those children He has given you. So you need Jesus. And in case you've not met Jesus, you have to meet Him, because He is the way, the truth, and the life. And this is my call to you. God is waiting on you. God is with our Father wants to meet with you. And in case you're a fatherless child and you're feeling dejected, you're feeling like everything is gone, you're feeling like you don't have a father, I have come to tell you that we have a father, and our Father is ever ready. He is waiting on us. We have our Heavenly Father. And let me tell you, He is waiting on you to come into a personal relationship with Him. He's interested in you. He loves you. He cares about you. And that is it for this evening. So we'll be right there. So if you need to talk to us about anything, I or Dinian, please be comfortable enough to send us a DM, and we'll be right there to talk to you. Thank you for joining us this evening. I love you, and I hope that you had a great time. I pray that this evening I pray for you for this week. You're going to have a blissful week. The Lord will answer you, and you are going to come into a deep relationship with your Heavenly Father. I love you and I celebrate you. Have a blissful week, and good night if you're in Nigeria, and good day, good afternoon, depending on where you are. God bless you.